Namaste and Jai Shri Krishna. Today we would be narrating the pastime of Parama Ekadashi. It is said that if one observes Ekadashi, then one receives entrance to Lord Vishnu's abode. Simply by listening to this Ekadashi Katha, one attains the same merit as observing the fast. Please listen attentively.
Please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel to encourage more videos like this.
Shri Yudhishthir Maharaj said, O Supreme Lord, what is the name and character of that Ekadashi that occurs during the dark fortnight, Krishna Paksh, of the extra leap year month of Purushottam? Also, O Master of all universes, what is the process for observing it properly? Kindly narrate all of this to me. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, replied, O Yudhishthir, this meritorious day is called Parama Ekadashi. It bestows the great benediction of an enjoyable life and ultimate liberation, release from birth and death. The process for observing it is similar to that for observing the Ekadashi that occurs during the light part of the month of Kartik. That is to say, on this Ekadashi, one should worship me, the best of all living beings, with full love and devotion. In this connection, I will now tell you a wonderful history, just as I heard it from the great sage in the city of Kampilya. Once a very pious Brahmin named Sumed resided in Kampilya with his wife, Pavitra, who was extremely chaste and devoted to her husband. On account of having committed some sin in his previous life, Sumed was without any money or food grains, and even though he begged many people for food, he could not obtain any substantial amount. He hardly had adequate food, clothing, or shelter for himself and his beautiful young wife, who was of such excellent character that she continued to serve Sumed faithfully despite their poverty. When guests would come to their home, Pavitra Mataji would give them her own food, and although she often went hungry, her beautiful lotus-like face never faded. This fasting made her weak, but her affection for Sumed remained unbreakable. Seeing all this and lamenting his ill fortune, Sumed one day said to Pavitra, My dear wife, O most beautiful one, I beg alms from the rich, but receive scarcely a scrap. What am I to do? What possible relief is there for our plight? Where should I go for relief? O most obedient and loving wife, without enough wealth, household affairs are never successful. Therefore, please permit me to go abroad and attain some wealth. If I make such an effort, I shall certainly obtain whatever fortune I am destined to enjoy. The revealed scriptures declare, one who endeavors enthusiastically will certainly attain success, but one who merely says, I accept my lot in this life is a lazy man. Upon hearing this from her husband as he spoke these words, Pavitra joined her palms and, her eyes brimming with tears, spoke to him with great respect and affection. The scriptures state that whatever wealth a person attains in this life is due to his having given charity in previous lives, and that if one has not given charity in previous lives, then even though he may sit atop a mound of gold as big as Mount Sumeru, he will still remain poor. Transcendental knowledge, spiritual education, satisfying wealth, and pleasing family members are acquired by a person who has given profuse charity. Whatever good a person does returns to him manyfold. Whatever charity a person gives in the form of education, money, fertile land, and the like is returned to him in a future lifetime. We gain what we have given when given with a good heart. No one attains any wealth without having given in charity in his previous life. O best of the Brahmins, since we are now poor in our previous lives, neither you nor I must have given any or sufficient charity to worthy persons. Therefore, O gracious husband, you should remain here with me. Without you, I cannot live even for a moment. A chaste woman always thinks that pleasing her spiritually situated husband is her heavenly pleasure, utmost duty, and greatest austerity. If her husband is pleased as Pulotam, Vishnu personified, she thinks the Supreme Lord and all the Devas are pleased. Pavitra continued, Please therefore stay with me and be satisfied with whatever wealth we get. Whatever is destined we shall obtain in due course of time and enjoy here in perfect happiness. Hearing these plaintive words from his wife, Sumed decided to remain in their native village. One day the great sage Kaundinya arrived at their place, and upon seeing him, the Brahmin Sumed and his wife stood up before him and then offered him their respectful obeisances. With his head bowed, Sumed welcomed him. We are very fortunate to behold you here today. O wisest of sages, my life has become successful and I am much obliged to you. Sumed offered Kaundinya Muni a comfortable seat and highly praised his austerities and learning. Just by having your darshan today, said Sumed, I have become very fortunate. The poor Brahmin couple fed the sage as sumptuously as they could afford to according to their means, and afterwards Pavitra asked the mendicant, O most learned one, what process can we follow to be relieved of our poverty? How can a person who has not given anything in charity in his previous life get a good family, much wealth, and a fine education in this life? My husband wants to leave me here and go abroad to beg alms, but I have earnestly prayed to him to stay here with me. I humbly told him that if one lacks wealth in the present life, it is because of not having given sufficient charity in previous lifetimes. And so he has consented to remain here. It is only due to my great fortune that you have so mercifully come here today. Now we are certain to see the end of our poverty very soon. O best of the Brahmanas, please tell us how we can be free of this perpetual misery brought on by poverty. O merciful one, kindly describe some means, a place of pilgrimage we may visit, a day of fasting we may observe, or an austerity we may perform, by which our ill fortune will end forever. Hearing this sincere supplication from the patient lady, the great sage Kaundinya reflected silently for a moment and then said, There is a fast day very dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Hari. Fasting on this day nullifies all kinds of sins and removes all miseries caused by poverty. This fast day, which occurs during the dark part, Krishna Paksh, of the extra leap year month, is known as Parama Ekadashi. It is the topmost day of Lord Vishnu, hence the name Parama. This extra month, Purushottam Mas, dark fortnight Ekadashi, bestows all the necessities of life, such as money and food grains, and at last gives liberation or release. When the evening of this day comes, one should begin singing the glories of the Lord and dancing in ecstasy, and one should continue throughout the entire night. This holy fast was once observed faithfully by Lord Kuver, the treasurer of the Devas. When Lord Shiva saw how strictly he had fasted, Shiva became very pleased and made Kuver the treasurer of heaven. Also, King Harishchandra fasted on this Ekadashi after his dear wife and son had been sold, and the king was able to get them back. Thereafter, he ruled his kingdom with no further impediments. Therefore, O broad-eyed lady, you should also observe the sacred fast of Parama Ekadashi, following all the appropriate rules and regulations and remaining awake all night. Lord Shri Krishna continued, O Yudhishthir, son of Pandu, in this way Kaundinya Muni mercifully and affectionately instructed Pavitra about the Parama Ekadashi fast. Then he said to Sumed, On the Dvadashi, the day after Ekadashi, you should vow to observe Pancharatriki fast according to all the rules and regulations. After taking a bath early in the morning, you and your good wife, along with both your parents and hers, should fast for 5 days according to your ability. Then you will all become eligible to return home to the abode of Lord Vishnu. Whoever feeds qualified Brahmins nicely on these 5 days has in effect fed all the devas and all the human beings. Whoever donates a pot of drinking water to a twice-born Brahmin during this 5-day period will gain merit equal to that gained by donating the entire planet in charity. Anyone who gives a learned person a pot filled with sesame seeds resides in heaven for as many years as there are seeds in the pot. One who donates a pot filled with golden ghee will surely go to the abode of the sun god after fully enjoying the pleasures of this earthly planet. Whoever remains celibate during these 5 days will attain celestial happiness and enjoy with the maidens of Indralok. Therefore, both of you, Sumed and Pavitra, should fast during these 5 days of Pancharatrika in order to be rewarded with ample grains and wealth for the rest of your lives on this planet. The spiritual world will be your abode thereafter. Hearing this sublime advice, the Brahmin couple, Sumed and Pavitra, properly observed the Parama Ekadashi and the fast of Pancharatrika, and very soon thereafter they beheld a handsome prince approaching them from the royal palace. On the orders of Lord Brahma, the prince gave them a beautiful, exquisitely furnished house and invited them to live in it. Praising their austerity and patience, he also gave them an entire village for their livelihood. Then he returned to the palace. Thus, Sumed and his wife enjoyed all kinds of facilities in this world and at last went to the abode of Lord Vishnu. Benefits. Anyone who observes a fast on Parama Ekadashi and also the fast of Pancharatrika is freed from all his sins, and after enjoying life he returns to Vishnu Lok, as did the Brahman Sumed and his faithful wife Pavitra. It is impossible, O Yudhishthir, to calculate the extent of the merit one obtains by fasting on Parama Ekadashi, for such an observance is equal to bathing in places of pilgrimage such as Pushkar Lake and the Ganga River, giving cows in charity, and performing all sorts of other religious activities. One who fasts on this day has also completed the offerings of oblations to his forefathers in Gaya. He has in effect fasted on all other auspicious days. As in the social order, the Brahmins are considered the best. As amongst four-legged creatures, the cow is the best, and as among the Devas, Lord Indradev is the best. So among all months, the extra month of the leap year is the best. The Pancharatrika fast, the fast of 5 days, Panch 5, Ratri nights, in the extra leap year month is said to remove all kinds of abominable sins. But the Pancharatriki fast, together with the fasts of Parama and Padmini Ekadashi, destroys all a person's sins. If a person is unable to fast on these days, he should observe the fasts during the extra month according to his ability. The rare human birth is meant for accumulating merit and at last achieving liberating release from this material world. Therefore, one should by all means observe fasting on this auspicious Parama Ekadashi. Lord Shri Krishna concluded, O sinless Yudhishthir, as you have requested, I have described to you the wonderful merit one can attain by fasting on the Ekadashi named Parama, which occurs during the dark part of the extra leap year month. You should observe this fast if at all possible. King Yudhishthir did exactly as Lord Krishna had instructed, and so did all his brothers and their wife Draupadi. After enjoying pleasures rarely achieved in the material world, they returned home back to Godhead. Whoever, after taking a proper bath, observes a fast on these 2 extra month Ekadashis will go to heaven and finally attain to the abode of Shri Vishnu, and as he travels there, he will be praised and prayed to by all the Devas. Thus ends the narration of the glories of Parama Ekadashi, the Ekadashi that occurs during the dark fortnight of the extra leap year month, from the Skanda Puran. Namaste.
Hari Bol.